Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dead Cells. Today we're playing on the newest update to the alpha, checking out the changes to the Repeater Crossbow. And I don't just mean the first set of changes from 1.9. They kinda reverted the primary fire of the crossbow to just a fast attack that crits on immobilized targets, and now the secondary fire is like this huge net of arrows that immobilizes enemies and has a root grenade style damage over time effect. I really enjoy these changes. They feel significantly better than what the Repeater Crossbow used to be. Not like its original edition, but since it became a two-handed alpha weapon. It's not enough to make it something that I actively want to use, though. I feel like I have that sort of thought about like the majority of these new two-handed crossbows. It's like their designs are really cool and fun, like the way everything is built, sort of. Oh, we got another run starting with off-color wave denial and heavy turret. That's interesting. Same thing happened at the start of the alchemic crossbow run. Cool. I got sidetracked. Yeah, I think they're really fun and interesting, like the way they set up these things with new stuff, like prepping up a crit for the heavy crossbow, the explosive crossbow having that melee secondary hit, ice crossbow, super cool with the whole like freeze and then big shot. It felt like super slow and difficult to use in the very beginning, but then they buffed like its speed and the recovery time after the second shot. So, you know, that's like a nice little quality of life thing, making it a little better. But I still don't think any of the crossbows are really great. Like, I wouldn't consider them to be something worth taking if you want to win a run, I guess. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, I wouldn't consider taking them if you're stuck someplace and trying to... Like, if you're still trying to progress and get farther in the game, it's definitely not the thing you want to take. Because like, you're limited in your options for taking shields and defensive stuff, which can be a big issue. Not, like, too big of an issue, but still kind of annoying. Because sometimes it's nice to have, like, a Hokuto's secondary to get some extra damage out while you're working with another ranged weapon for your build. And sometimes it's nice to just have a shield so that you can parry arrows out of enemies, not have to take that ammo mutation. You can focus on more defensive stuff, like taking the trio of defensive boss fight stuff that I take whenever I fight the giant usually. Unless I'm working with a build that needs a specific mutation. And that's Dead Inside, Disengagement, Masochist. Because the giant and the hand both have dangerous spike traps. Not spike traps, only the hand has spike traps. The giant's crystals count as traps for the purpose of reducing the damage. And it's important to reduce the damage of those crystals, kinda, because they're the most random thing in the boss fight, basically. They don't fall in a pattern, so sometimes you can get kinda caught out and in a place you're not expecting, and if you're working with like a squishier run, then the crystals can bonk you up pretty bad. So it's just nice to focus on that. And we're taking extended healing here just for some, even though immobilize is at 0, I'm still taking extended healing just because, like, I don't feel like there's a point in taking necromancy this early on when I'm already, like, full HP. And I don't think I'm gonna get, like, completely bursted down in the promenade. Though it has happened before thanks to some unfortunate kamikaze bat placement. So can't rule it out entirely, just trying to be confident. And this is a nice Repeater Crossbow we got here with shots inflict shots create a poison cloud. I don't remember exactly how it's worded, but you know, every time a shot lands, it makes a little poison cloud on the enemy. So It's pretty good for enabling synergies. I think we've got poison synergy on the Giant's Whistle, which is why I took a level 4 over a level 5. Because I figure it's just gonna do a lot more damage. And yeah, that's... Right now I want to hold on to the poison synergy, even if that one's like a little level higher. And nice, get to swap out the Wave of Denial. Wave of Denial and Heavy Turret just really like appearing together, I guess. If I were going for a tactics run, I would love that setup from the very beginning. Because, you know, it's good. So yeah, I really like the way this, the way the net fires. Because it covers a huge, like, aerial base. I don't know. It covers, like, this big area, like, in an overhead arc, but still shoots right in front of you, still rains down. It's just really good at covering the place. And then in some situations where you can't get like right lined up with an enemy, then having that damage over time effect to like slowly whittle them down seems really, really good. That's a tough decision, but I'm thinking I don't have poison synergy on anything else, and if I'm gonna get poison synergy, it's gonna be like I'm gonna want to have the 100%. The 80% on my main weapon, so I figured it's about time to swap out the explosive or the poison one, which, you know, might not have been the best idea, but I don't think it really matters in the grand scheme of things, because I can reroll it later, try to get like some better synergies with stuff that I have, even though I don't have anything right now. Ideally, we're looking for a Wolf Trap, because Wolf Trap will enable the immobilized crits without having to land that right click, and it'll also be able to, like, you know, have that more sustained stuff when the right click falls off. Oof. That's a... Well, there was a bad situation with the Kamikaze Bat, just like I said, but I didn't get reduced below 50% HP because of Rally, so... What? Well, I did get reduced below 50% HP, but I healed it all up with Rally, so I'm good. But yeah, that's a situation where Necromancy would not have helped me at all. Old Necromancy would have been extremely helpful because I can get my HP back up to a good point, but no. I still think I'd rather just have it as a healing mutation, even without the malaise stuff. Well, that's just me. I'm sure they're gonna tweak around with stuff like that. I think this, I think Necromancy's current stage isn't actually what they want to keep it as. They're just kind of, I think it's like a placeholder nerf just to keep things fair, I guess, in terms of survival mutations, trying to get people to take other mutations than Necromancy, so it doesn't feel like the thing you gotta take every time. Which, like, I get it if that's the case. Makes sense. I like how you can do those little like flick shots with the right click too. Mushroom Boy. Yeah, I don't think Mushroom Boy would be good for a build like this because I don't actually have a ton of range on my left click attack. It's not like I have low range like melee, it's just not as much as something like the marksman's bow. Or something for, yeah, I don't know. Excuse me, sorry. I mean, I'm gonna edit that out, but I had to take a little cough. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I don't think Mushroom Boy is good for a lot of melee runs, and a lot of melee or low range runs. And I feel like I don't really need him to be like bumping enemies around and taking care of stuff that gets close to me, because I have my own form of CC and my ability to deal like sustained damage to enemies that are like close to me. So all in all, I think Mushroom Boy is not gonna be like a hugely worthwhile pick. Probably still would have been better than Telluric Shock in a boss fight. But I like having that burst to just clear through enemies. And I know there's an argument to be made that Mushroom Boy has burst because of his reactivated ability, but You know, if you're new to the channel, we don't do that here. Mushroom Boy is a precious baby child, and he will not be exploded for any means other than getting some achievements, but we don't talk about that. But yeah, if I can help it, I won't blow up Mushroom Boy ever. I actually had a run where I died halfway through from Curse because I didn't use Mushroom Boy to blow up enemies and clear it out faster. But I have no regrets. I died so my son can live on. Ooh, off-color knife dance. Taking it over to Lyric Shock just because, like, it's new. You don't often get to see the survival scaling knife dance. It's not really going to do much for us, though, I don't think. I mean, it's going to be nice little damage over time sort of thing I can do. So that's something. But I don't think we have bleed synergy on anything in the kit, so not gonna be like as good as it would be if we did. And that's fine. If I'm coughing a lot today. Maybe I am sick. That's fine. Oh yeah, I want to go to the morass, but I'm thinking that maybe because of the fact that I didn't actually go to the Arboretum in this patch, because, you know, everything resets when you go to the alpha. So, or not everything resets when you go to the alpha. Everything resets when the alpha gets an update. By which I mean, oh, that's cool. The way it nets up all those bats like that. The flies. I guess those enemies are called flies? I think they're called sewer flies, but they still look like bats. It's kind of annoying that that guy can still spin and block all my projectiles while I'm going at it. Or while he's immobilized, but whatever. Legendary Rampart. Can't take it. I have all the, like, main hand and offhand stuff, like shields, disabled so that I could get this crossbow run, because I really wanted to show it off after seeing the changes. Or no, I really wanted to see the changes for myself and record it so I could share it. I think they're not bad. It's hard to tell in a lot of this, just because, like, the stats vary. Like, stats and synergies are a big component for, not proponent. They're a big component of the actual damage that you deal over the course of the run. So if you don't have good stats and you don't have good synergies, then it's not gonna happen. Or you're not gonna get the kind of damage that you would get if you did have them. And there's a wolf trap with poisons the enemy, so I already feel pretty justified. I already feel pretty justified in dropping that poison cloud repeater crossbow. Because the thing about, like, the toxic cloud stuff is that the actual poison that they inflict is, like, next to nothing. So there's no real point in taking it for the poison damage. I'm not sure if the damage scales up at all or something, but every time I've had it, it's been like dealing 1 or 8 damage a tick. And when you compare that to, like, the Alchemic Carbine, or, well, I was gonna say or something else, but I can't really think of anything else that deals with poison, or anything else that inflicts poison, except, like, generates toxic cloud around a trap. But that poison's pretty solid. It's not amazing, just pretty solid. And that's one thing I always notice about the Repeater Crossbow, is that if you fire it in the air, it lets you hang in the air, like, a lot more than a lot of other weapons do. So a lot of other weapons tend to do, which is pretty cool. Can help you in some situations that would normally not be possible with a heavy survival weapon. Although I guess this isn't really a heavy weapon, just because it takes up 2 hands. It feels heavy. I say it's not really heavy because it fires decently quickly. And yeah, the passage to the morass isn't here. I wanted to see about fighting Mama Tick with this, just for a change of pace. I felt like it might be okay. But it's fine. I mean, if I have to take the path I'm more comfortable with, then I guess I'll have to. It's oh no, it's such a shame. However will I recover by taking the easy route? Nah, it's all good. Plenty of other runs in the future to take it. And I'm taking Necromancy right here just in case I get like bursted down by stuff in the ossuary. And then if I take Malaise, I can get rid of it at the concierge. Because I feel like I feel like Necromancy has become more of like a malaise reducing... It's become more of a malaise reducing mutation that now has a healing passive, which I'm kinda... I don't know how I feel about that. Since I started playing back when Necromancy was just healing and nothing else. It feels weird to see it in its current state. That's cool. It's all good. I've already pretty much gotten used to playing survival runs without Necromancy healing, so it's okay. Although I miss what could have been, being the sustained tank in the old days. So something. Man, I miss like... Well, I don't know if I miss it, but I remember, I feel nostalgic for back in the old days when I would play like only survival because of Necromancy. It was just so good. And I'd also just take Necromancy on like every run because I really liked having that sustained healing. I still think it's crazy to remember back in... I'm not gonna say back in the day again. I say it so much. To remember back then when like... to remember back to a point where I felt like I needed all the healing I could get, and I would ration out like every single flask charge for one level. I'd be using 4 flask charges on one level. Ah, gosh. And now it's like I don't even use 4 flask charges over the course of a whole game. If I do, then that's what I consider to be like a terrible, terrible run. Ah, man. That's crazy. Thinking about how different everything used to be. Nostalgia. It's fun, though. I remember back when the icon for Dead Inside was like just a green face. That was cute. I'm not gonna go full nostalgia trip. Or maybe I am, I don't know. That could be fun. Just thinking back to all the old stuff in the game. I remember old Repeater Crossbow. Like, people said it was good, but I never really checked it out. I think one of the things that made it good was Instinct of the Master of Arms, because you'd be able to throw out like more wolf traps on the ground. And like refresh that, refresh your crits. And you would also be able to use whatever's in your non-wolf trap slot if you're going for like a giant's whistle like I am. So I think it was regarded as a good weapon, but I don't know. My knowledge of what people think, I'm just gonna be touching around this. I always followed the elevator. Well, got him out of the air. That was a little bit more harrowing than it needed to be, but thankfully I wasn't cursed, so it wouldn't have ended the run. It would have just made me feel bad. What's I going on about? Yeah, I don't know if Repeater Crossbow was considered a good weapon or not. I mean, every weapon's rating is based on like the user preference, which is why I stopped rating my weapons at the end of my videos and stuff. Because I'm not gonna say it was a lot of work. It really wasn't. I just took like 5 to 10 minutes to like really think about stuff and then write down how I felt after a run. It wasn't a big deal. And trying to think of a rating for each one, like whether it's S tier or D tier, it just felt like unnecessary. Because at the end of the day, it's based on user preference, so there's no real point in ranking it. And like if you watch the whole run anyway, you get like the same sort of level of understanding of how the weapon is, and you'd be able to decide for yourself what tier it is in your mind. So yeah, I'll probably do like my own tier list video after like winning a run with like every weapon in the game or something. Or maybe that'll be like a subscriber special thing if that's what people want. Oh, there's a Discord notification. Yeah, I don't know what's been up with my streamer mode lately, but it's just not really working. Like I set my like I have it set to streamer mode, and streamer mode disables the audio of all notifications, stops them from popping up on screen. And in other words, it's what you would want if you're streaming, or in my case, recording. You'd want those notifications to not show up in your video because the way OBS works is it doesn't have like at least as far as I know, it doesn't have like a record only audio from this application sort of thing. It just records whatever audio is coming out of your desktop at the moment, which in some cases can be good because you can layer audio and stuff without having to individually record it. But I don't really do that sort of thing, so it's kind of rough for me. Because I love my friends and everything, but if I have to see every notification when I'm trying to record, then it's pretty annoying. I don't know, because I can't really edit it out either because it's not in my audio. It's in the actual like MP4 file that the thing's recorded in. The Dead Cells run is. So I've got no way to deal with that aside from like muting the audio entirely for that short segment. But that's so annoying. Like I don't know if when the demonetization stuff on YouTube was first starting, like people would I think they made it so that even if you use like the standard bleep sound to like censor a swear, it would still recognize that as like a curse word, and then you would be demonetized for that, which is pretty rough. Because I don't know, that's like kind of an unrealistic sort of standard. If like bleeps are good enough for TV, then I feel like they should be good enough for YouTube. Or something. I don't know. But yeah. Wait, where was I going with that? Think. Bring forth that memory from the deepest recesses of your ding-dang mind. Swapping out Giant's Whistle for the Ice Grenade just because we're heading into a boss fight and I don't have ammo. I feel like I need some way to pluck it out of enemies. And I want to see if I can get poison synergy on the Repeater Crossbow. I'm not sure if that's a possibility though, so I'm giving up right now. Well, I've still got like a little less than 10,000. Darn. Yeah, I'm sorry, I really can't remember what I was talking about. Hopefully I remember later so it doesn't seem like this leaving on a, not really cliffhanger, but something. I don't know. Yeah, heading out of the ossuary with 12. That's really bad. Well, I guess it's not really bad because it's only one less than I would have, but it feels really bad. Especially because I ditched my my Giant's Whistle, so I don't even have that DPS for when the fight's going on so long. I'm starting to think that was maybe a mistake. But at the same time, I don't know, because, like, oh, that's fun. That's his most fun and interactive move in his kit. the good old walk at you maneuver. It's really, you know, if I had to write a book out of the most intelligent and interactive moves in all of boss fight history, Concierge's walk at you with the electric field up move would be right on the front cover. Just the actual pinnacle of interactive gameplay. Nah, I'm just messing with you. I don't hate it that much. Like, it's annoying, but it's not. If it killed me, it'd be a different story. But where it stands, just losing like all my health or the majority of my health and getting melee'd up is not so bad. That's pretty annoying. His interactions with immobilize and stuff like that. Yeah, really gotta get him with those wolf traps, or my DPS suffers by a lot. Not my quickest fight against the guy, but not my worst either. I think it's just because we're working with low stats and don't have any synergies, because we didn't get poison synergy from those rerolls, is why the damage is not so great. And I probably should be swapping out for... I don't know if I should be swapping out for that Death Orb. It's hard to say. I think Ice Grenade would be good because I want the ability to get my ammo back. And I don't want to have to take the ammo mutation for the most part. Even though it would be better than Extended Healing, because Extended Healing is full RNG and has the potential to just not do anything. Which I really don't like. Because games like this are all about trying to mitigate RNG in as best as you can, not fully surrender to it. Ugh, this is gonna be really annoying, a really annoying area for this weapon with those guys, because they can block both hits of it. At least with the Explosive Crossbow, you have the option to melee them and get them out of there while your ranged is while they're blocking your ranged stuff. Now, this might be kind of a hot take, but I think the Explosive Crossbow is the best crossbow out of all the reworked ones, even with the Repeater Crossbow update. And that's basically just my preference as someone who really doesn't like using the heavy crossbows. Taking a lot of damage here. The reason I like it, and I know I've heard a lot of people say that it's terrible, that it's the worst one, but the reason I like it is because I have the option to not use it as a crossbow. I can use it as a melee weapon for like 90% of the time and then just use it as a ranged weapon when I need to, and I really like that. I really enjoy having the ability to use it as a melee weapon. And it's not even a bad melee weapon. Like, the damage isn't insane, but it has so much AoE. I did record the video for a run that focused around the Explosive Crossbow. I chose to record the audio for this one first, just because it's newer. It's new, and I don't want to use my blast charges yet. I want to get some use out of Necromancy while I still can, which is annoying because now it's like instead of Necromancy being something that helps you when you're already doing well in a run just to keep yourself topped up, it's like it's making me feel like I'm in danger constantly, because instead of using my health blast charge, I'm like, no, Necromancy's got my back. Or maybe that doesn't make me feel like I'm in danger. Maybe that makes me feel like I'm less in danger, even though I am in equal amounts of danger, if not more, because I'm refusing to use my health blast charge. I don't know. It depends how you want to unpack that. Still no poison synergy in any of those dudes. Those dudes, those crossbows. I don't know if I... I don't know if I personify the weapons that much. I know I treat them like people in occasions, like in the... Like if I'm holding on to a level 4 for the whole game, and then I swap it out, I'll have this feeling like, oh gosh. Well, no, I don't have the feeling like, oh gosh. I have a feeling like you've put in your work, friend. It's time to take a well-deserved rest, or something like that. Saying oh gosh because I'm so frazzled at this point just from all that damage I took. I almost just died right there from getting punched by the guy, but I rolled out at the last second. This is like I don't want to call it tilt time because I don't think I was that tilted. It's just like ugh. I guess I was feeling a little tired because it wasn't the damage was not as good as I was expecting because of like my low stats or whatever, and I'm just like no, I'm only halfway through the run and I'm already falling off. Yeah, I do like that it has the little damage over time effect too. It's nothing huge, it's just kind of some nice little bonus stuff to get out there. I think that works well with, I think that works even better with Wolf Trap because constantly refreshing that bonus DPS on it, so it's always ticking. Nice little synergy right there. It's pretty good. Because I mean, Wolf Trap is what you want to take on a Repeater Crossbow run, like no matter what. I'm pretty sure. It's like how you want to take Wolf Trap with Nutcracker. But at the same time, you can also take freeze stuff with Nutcracker. It's just not as good. Wolf Trap is what you take because you're kind of limited in your choices with the Repeater Crossbow because it only works off of immobilizes. It doesn't work off of freezes and stuns like the Nutcracker does. I like the Nutcracker. I want to do a run with that. I was talking around with people in the comments, and one of them gave me this build for Nutcracker and Boyzax, which I thought was pretty cool. I think it, like, I could totally get how it would be because like Nutcracker's kind of slow, and if you bind it to the same button as Boyzax, then you would pull the axe out before going for the second Nutcracker hit, which would remove the immobilize and probably do less damage. So like I can see how they'd step on each other's toes, kind of. And yeah, I'm swapping out for this level 10 Repeater Crossbow because I want to keep rerolling for poison synergy. I'm not sure if I'm just getting extremely unlucky or poison synergy isn't an option on these things. Which, now that I think about it, is appearing more and more likely. But I've also spent all my money trying to get it, so it doesn't... It's too late. It's too late to get it back. I don't know. Because I remember Marksman's Bow back in the day couldn't get poison synergy on it. And I don't know if that's just because they were like, poison synergy is 100%, that's too strong for something that does so much critical damage. But I don't know. And I mean, that could be the case. Ouch. And these samurai crabs really are like the bane of my existence this run. That's rough. It's rough, but it's okay. We can recover. Necromancy's already got us back up to 50%. I haven't taken that much damage with extended... I haven't taken that much damage... Or malaise is what I'm talking about. We haven't taken that much malaise, only sitting at 3. Sir, you're immobilized. Last time I checked, jumping is a form of mobility. I'm not sure if I need a refresher on physics, I guess, but I'm pretty sure the act of jumping counts as moving, counts as mobility. and should therefore, you know, not be a thing when someone's immobilized. And yeah, if you roll through the guy and then hit him, the samurai crab, I mean, they have a brief moment where they can't deflect attacks after a dash. So you can just like bait out the dash and then do it, and then riddle them with your abilities. And I'm scoping out, well, I was scoping out the area to look for traps, but then I found this cursed chest, and I'm like, alright, I'm going. It's not better than the one I have. Yeah, it's always nice to find it at the extra cursed chest before finding the 3-cell door, or in my case, just opening it before going into the 3-cell door. I guess, no. I was gonna say I guess the order doesn't really matter because it'll be cursed either way. It's kind of rough that there's an elite in this position, but it could always be worse than an elite inquisitor, and could always be worse than an elite inquisitor with the defensive little crystals. Well, now that I know that Tubby Mummy can now that I know that he is not bound by the laws of this world, I know that I should not rely on immobilizes for him and should freeze him instead. But I guess if he can't turn around, he can't see me. And nice, got the curse taken care of just in time to get another one. Yeah, the reason it's best to find phaser, and that I guess phaser wouldn't be too terrible with this, but also wouldn't really be that good. It's like it'd be extra damage every 2 seconds, but I don't know if I want to be right on top of enemies when I'm working with a ranged build. And yeah, the reason it's important which order you take the curse chest in, like if there are 2 of them, but most of the time there isn't, so there's no point like actually planning around it unless you found the free floating random curse chest first. It's basically just the room that with the curse chest in it, the 3-cell door, always has enemies in it. So if while clearing your way over to the curse, if you can clear out the curse you already have, then that's just efficient use of your time and efficient use of enemy life. Enemy lives or enemy life? I don't know. I'm just letting them go. And those 2 are Dunyan rings, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, they weren't by the time I started saying the sentence, but I foresaw a couple seconds into the future. So it's all good. And that's really skirting danger with that elite laser right there, just out of the hitbox. I don't think anything bad would have happened if I did get clipped by it though. Might have gotten stunned, but like that's no biggie. Carefully avoid the traps because I don't have Masochist. I decided to take extended healing instead, even though extended healing has not paid out for me once. But honestly, that's not even unexpected. Extended healing never pays out for me. It never pays out for me when I actually have malaise. It only pays out when I'm at 0. I feel like I have to add that. I feel like I have to add that clarification because, like, if you look back to, I don't remember which video it was, but I had one video where I got like extended healing every time from an elite, but I wasn't taking damage or I wasn't getting hit at all, so I didn't have the malaise to get rid of. Or I was getting the little cough syrup drop. Because you know, extended healing every time you kill an elite, it has a really small chance to drop the cough syrup. But still, considering how many elites there are in 5 BC and the fact that I'm taking care of every single one of them, and I got extended healing as my very first mutation way back in the very beginning of the game, you would think it would at least pay out once over the course of the run. Like, just once. Just one little flagon of cough syrup. Flagon? Is that even a thing? Or is it flaggard? Tankard? I don't know. I don't understand what I'm even talking about at this point. I think no, yeah, because there's that thing like in medieval whatever, like I guess D&D maybe. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's cool. It's just like every time I play it with friends or whatever, I just get really bored and I end up like tabbing out to look at something else and then missing the whole story, so when I come back I don't know what we're doing. It's just not for me, I guess. I don't need constant visual I don't need constant visual stimulation, so it's not that. It's not like I played video games for too long, so I need to be able to see what I'm working with and can't just use my imagination. That's not the case at all. I spend a lot of time just daydreaming and thinking about random stuff with like really vivid images in my head. So it's not that. It's just I don't know. Maybe I just need more experiences with it or something. But it just feels like it takes so long to get to do anything because everybody thinks out their turns too much instead of just doing whatever. But I guess I can't blame them. I mean, there are a couple of fun bits, like okay. I don't know if this is gonna become a rant or anything. It probably wouldn't be a rant. It's just like a long reflection on RNG in video games. But it's weird because they have like their time and place, I guess, or situations in which RNG is actually helpful and makes for like a super fun and unique gaming experience. But there are other times where RNG feels like the game just like picks you up by your collar, gives you 2 black eyes, pulls your underwear up over your head, and then spits in your mouth and shoves you in your locker, or something like that. I never experienced that firsthand, but I can imagine it pretty well. I may be a nerd, but I wasn't bullied in school. Yeah, there are some times where it feels like you just get completely screwed over by RNG, but there are other times where, like, the fact that RNG like keeps things new, sort of, and it's always unexpected, or there's always the possibility that something completely unexpected happens. Also, I feel like you should be able to immobilize, or you should be able to get the immobilized effect on these guys, the hand and the eye, even if they're not moving. You know, just for the sake of this, I think that would be good. Yeah, because I've been playing Darkest Dungeon a lot again, and by a lot I mean I picked it up yesterday and played it for like a couple hours, and it was really fun. And speaking of which, would you guys want to see like a Darkest Dungeon series sometime in the future? Maybe not right now with the whole situation going on and my limited abilities to record audio, but like in like the distant future, I guess. Soon future, I don't know. Whenever everything settles down and becomes relatively normal again. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Because in that game, like, crits are a big deal, and there's also like the death blow mechanic, where if one of your heroes gets down to 0 HP, they don't die immediately. They get put on death's door, and then if they get hit again on death's door, then they have a chance to die, but they also have a chance to survive and live on still. And yeah, that's a slow giant fight. I'm sitting at 24 for my stats, which is like 2 below the curve, I think at this point. Maybe more, I don't know. But with the way stats scale exponentially, like, it's pretty important to have a lot less important than it was before the update. But yeah, the game has the death's door mechanic, so it's like it just always keeps you in suspense because you're like, oh gosh, is he gonna die? Is he gonna live? I don't know. It's crazy. And then there's also the stress mechanic, where if your hero reaches 100 stress, they have like a psychotic breakdown, and if they're most likely to like break down fully and gain like some kind of panic state, like being abusive to teammates, being hopeless and like dragging everybody down with them, being too afraid to actually fight and like passing their turns, throwing themselves at the back of the party. is really interesting and fun. And then there's also crits. Like, crits are super huge. You can crit on healing. Everything is like variables, like dice rolls and stuff like that. So nothing is ever like guaranteed to be the same. Enemies can dodge. You can dodge. It's cool because the RNG doesn't. It's not RNG just in the enemy's favor. The RNG can favor you just as easily, which I think is really fun. And there are like some bits of RNG mitigation and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's like it embraces the random number generator. And in a case like that, where it's like the crits when they happen to you or when they happen for you feel really satisfying. When they happen against you, they feel like terrifying. And I still think that's good because it's like a big feeling and it's something that's new and not the same. Whereas if you're talking about like a competitive game or something that's difficult and people take seriously, like Dead Cells, I'd say, then I think RNG is something that should be limited. But at the same time, Dead Cells, the RNG of Dead Cells in the terms of like the random builds that you get that make the game feel unique is what I love about the game. It's what makes the game feel unique and fun. Because like sure, the combat is amazing and that's like what I love most about it. But what good is the combat like being fluid if the builds are the same every time and every run is always the same? Because I mean, like if I were playing competitively, like going for the leaderboards, then I would be like, all right, I want to get my favorite build every time and I want to get the highest score possible. But no, this is just, the goal is to have fun. The goal is to, yeah, I don't know what I've been doing lately with the hand, like big slam. I've been jumping up way too fast because I'm just like on autopilot during this fight, I guess. But yeah, it's but yeah, I want to get like the unique and interesting runs. I don't care about winning every time. I want to have fun. And yeah, the hand does no damage now when I'm working with a survival run with Dead Inside. Really, but I also do no damage because I've got 27 stats. So it's kind of like a wet noodle fight up in here. And this is the most recent alpha as of recording, which is 1.9.2, I'm pretty sure. I think, yeah. Yeah, probably. Another game I really like that is like heavy RNG is Dicey Dungeons, but I don't know. The reason it's heavy RNG is because you have, it's like a I don't want to say it's deck based because it's not deck based. It's like you have these cards that you set out on a table in front of you, and then the game rolls dice for you, and then the cards have different requirements or stuff to be used, and they reflect like your dice rolls. So like the basic sword is just like deal blank damage, and so you would want to, like, if you rolled a 6, you'd put it in there, sword would do 6 damage. And then, so in that case you want high rolls. But then you have stuff like spatula sword or whatever, and it's like flips the dice then deals damage based on the dice's number. So you'd want to put in a 1, and then it would deal 6 damage because it would flip the dice upside down to a 6, and then you would get the 6 back to put in like your regular sword or whatever. And it's just crazy, like the stuff like that. Because it's not a game about relying on RNG, it's a game about trying to mitigate your RNG as much as possible by going for builds that are significant. But conversely, you can also totally go full RNG and bet on getting like these crazy odds and like go for the huge gamble. That's another game. Like Dicey Dungeons, another game I love. I realize that makes it sound like I was talking about Dicey Dungeon and then being like, oh yeah, this is just like in Dicey Dungeons. But it is in Dicey Dungeons. But not, I just kind of like got choked up for a second and flubbed up my sentence. What I was saying was, I like Dicey Dungeons a lot for reasons like that. I don't know if I want to say it's an underrated game. It's just kind of like, is cult classic the right word? Where it's like, not a ton of people are super into it, but those who, it's got like a very dedicated community of people who love it. I think that might be the case. But yeah, I love it. It's super cool. It's super cute. All the music is amazing, made by Chipsel, I think. I don't know any of this stuff. Oh yeah, I looked away for a second and got hit by all the enemies in the monster chest. That's rough. Yeah. I don't know. I only heard of Chipsel from Dicey Dungeon, so I don't know if they've got other stuff. Probably do. Amazing music. Really, really fun. It's like electronic, but it has like some real nice I guess jazzy elements in some of them. A lot of the songs are different. Like they've got different elements to them. But they've got like, there's this one, I think it's called like Swing Me Another Six or something like that, where it's got like this bass line or like this bass that's so intense that I can like, every time I hear it I can imagine like that fat like bass chord or the bass string just like vibrating, you know, like it's been plucked like super far back and then it's like, you know? Gosh, it's so good. Great music, great video game, ton of fun. Can make a series on that too. I feel like playing something more slow paced like Dicey Dungeons or Slay the Spire. Also Grifflands. Grifflands just came out today. Not to date the video or whatever, but, or to date the recording, but amazing video game. I've been looking forward to its release forever. I haven't gotten the chance to get it yet because I've got something's up with like online transactions with me or whatever, so I'm gonna have to get that sorted out before I can do it. But you know, it's all good. We'll get it. We'll get the video game. A good video game. That one is super cool as well. The premise of it, it's like your standard deck builder sort of thing, where you've got like a deck of stuff. You've got your action, your turns to spend. Like it's very Slay the Spire. But the difference is that there's a combat deck and a negotiation deck, and there are two different forms of combat. One is physical combat where you're fighting with like your fists or your weapons, and the other is like argument combat or negotiation combat, where you've got like this whole alternate setup. Also, I think I just heard a noise outside. I don't know if that picked up on the mic. Hopefully it didn't. Guess I shouldn't have addressed it then. But yeah, you've got like this whole different deck, and like the more combat, like regular combat you do, the more regular combat cards you get, the more negotiation combat you do, you get that. So it's like you've got it's like you're playing Slay the Spire, but you've got two different decks to use in two different types of combat. And that's super unique and interesting. And you can also like, they also sort of intertwine, because it's like if you're really good at combat, you sometimes get a bonus in negotiation, because you've got like you've got like that intimidation factor to sort of go with, so people are afraid of you and it's easier to get them to do what you want. And then you've also got the other way where you can negotiate with people to join you in fights and make regular combat easier. And that's flippin' rad. It's really cool to me. There's so many good games. Just, I guess just in general, there's so many good games. Play Entertainment is a very... Play Entertainment R? I don't know how you address like the company as a whole, or the... Yeah. But they got a lot of cool people there, making a lot of cool video games. And I really like that. I played a ton of Don't Starve back in the day. Don't Starve Together as well. I probably have more hours in Don't Starve Together playing alone than I do playing with other people, but I don't consider that too bad. And yeah, I'm trying to take a shortcut here going down, and I missed it. That's rough. Oh jeez, oh no, I'm in the middle of a trap. In the middle of the trap room. I have to duck under that. Alright, now it's healing time. Alright. I'll have it this time, though. Sort of. Gotta get my lay of the land, not slam down immediately, but still slam down at a time. And we're still fine. 2 potion charges is fine for the collector fight. 2 potion charges, 27 survival. Not amazing. Not too terrible. We'll get it done. Trust me, I got this. Actually, I don't know. It might get pretty close. Depends. Oh yeah, and I stopped cheesing these guys out. Not so much because I feel like it's more worthwhile to fight them. It's just because, like, I don't know. It takes about the same amount of time, and if I get hit once, I can just use a flash charge. It doesn't really matter. And I'm still... I'm gonna re-roll my mutations first, but I'm still thinking I want to try again for... And I am taking Sync the Master of Arms, the reason I said earlier. Probably should have had it like this whole time, but whatever. Yeah, no poison synergy. Don't know if it's possible to get or not still. It probably isn't now that I'm looking back on it. Also, let me point out, extended healing did not give me a single flask of cough syrup for the entire run, even though I know I ditched it like before the giant fight. But still, that was many levels where it had the chance to do something. That is the kind of RNG that I don't like. When it's literally just, this good thing has a chance to happen whenever you do this, and that's it. It's rough. Because, I don't know. I like RNG that you can either rely on or RNG that doesn't really matter at all. It's kind of like a coin flip sort of thing. But yeah, I'm glad I held on to this ice grenade because the ability to pluck all my arrows out of this guy is pretty good, especially considering I've got especially now that I've got instinct and I'm using a lot of arrows. I do also really like how much range the net has because it covers such a huge area, and you can see like getting those crits is already chunking through my my cooldowns pretty quickly. Not as quickly as the good old rapier giant's whistle ice shards sort of combo, because that was pretty epic, pretty video gamer. I always get a little worried when I'm freezing the guy in that attack, because it's like, you know, his fireball might come out while he's frozen, or I might miss my parry timing. Not parry timing, but you know, my roll timing. I am sleepy. Fatigue, tired, just hitting me all of a sudden. Oh boy. I don't know. I feel like I did okay with the commentary in this one. It wasn't so much meta commentary as much as it was talking about other games, but I also spent a lot of time talking about Dead Cells and the run we're on. So I don't feel like I got too off topic. And most of the stuff that I did get off topic with was sort of tangentially related. Until the Astrolab, where I just kind of went on a tangent about games that I like. Thus, I don't think that's bad. I realize I'm falling back into meta commentary by saying that I'm not doing the meta, but whatever. Meta commentary, I mean talking about like making videos and the fact that this is a video instead of just talking about stuff in the game. It's what I call it. But yeah, I don't know. It never feels like there's too much to talk about in the collector fight because it's just, he does the same sort of patterns over and over again. He has a lot of health. You dodge the patterns, you whittle down his health. Eventually he drinks, and then you drink, and then you kill. It's pretty basic fight. And yeah, I started picking up on doing this kind of roll to dodge it, just because it's more consistent and less physically taxing than doing the jump thing I was doing before. I saw a V.me doing that strategy, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. I watch his streams sometimes. Sometimes. Mostly just the videos though. I don't know, I'm not a stream kind of guy. I like being able to like come back to videos instead of watching like the live stream, because also my internet's really not great, so having to do a live stream, like it buffers a lot, there's more latency and stuff like that. I prefer the video format. Although if my internet was better, I might consider streaming, because I've got a lot of runs that I recorded that just don't really seem just don't really seem interesting enough to make a video on, but like in the moment they might have been fine. I'm just healing up here because, like, why not? I'm not gonna need it. It's a long collector fight, same as always. I'm starting to get sloppy because I get tired. But fight is, well, it's not over yet technically, but it's basically over. So what do I think about the Repeater Crossbow? I think it's fine. It's not good. It's not great. The whole net move is really cool. I like that a lot. I just wish I don't know if I wish the thing did more damage. I guess I do wish it did more damage, since you gotta drop a shield or a secondary to get at it. I wish it had poison synergy. That's what I really wish. I wish I could have gotten a synergy this game. That would have been good. Because I didn't reroll my wolf trap because I wanted that. Anyway, that's about it for the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you didn't enjoy it, appreciate some constructive criticism. Suggestions are welcome in the comments for any kind of run you want to see me do, whether it be like challenge or showcase or a build you want to see. Yeah, I think that's about it. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.